Then Meek Mill came, but he couldn't get financing.
Meek Mill couldn't give him financing?
They don't.
These guys,
nothing,
they're full of
Yeah,
The internet did not wake up quietly. It woke up to 50 Cent tossing a financial grenade into the timeline. One comment, one money-related jab, and suddenly social media looked like Wall Street mixed with a rap battle. Because when 50 speaks on somebody's wealth, it's never random and it's definitely never soft. It's sharp, it's strategic, it's delivered with that signature smirk energy that makes people wonder whether they should laugh or prepare for impact. And when Meek Mill's name entered the conversation, the temperature didn't just rise, it jumped. Screenshots started flying like leaked documents. Comment sections turned into financial debate clubs. And fans immediately split into teams, like it was playoff season. Now let's be honest, in hip-hop culture, talking about money isn't small talk. It's identity, it's dominance, it's who's really winning when the cameras turn off. So when wealth becomes the headline, it doesn't stay playful for long. Was this classic trolling? Was it calculated shade? Or was it just another example of 50 Cent knowing exactly how to push the right buttons at the right time? Memes clocked in immediately, reaction pages lit up, and the timeline kept refreshing, waiting for the next move. Because when 50 throws even a subtle jab, it rarely stays subtle. And when money enters the chat, the drama never stays small. The moment that comments started circulating, the timeline shifted instantly. Not gradually, not subtly, instantly. Because when 50 Cent speaks on money, especially someone else's money, people don't treat it like casual conversation. They treat it like a coded message. Screenshots were moving faster than album leaks. Fans zoomed in on wording, tone, timing, and suddenly, what might have been a quick jab became a full-blown financial debate. Let's establish something important. 50 Cent is not new to this. He has built an entire secondary career off trolling with precision. He doesn't just throw shade, he packages it. He times it. He drops it in a way that makes you question whether he's joking or calculating 3 moves ahead. That ambiguity is his superpower. And this time, it worked again. The comment about Meek Mill's wealth didn't land in a vacuum. Hip-hop culture places enormous weight on financial image. Cars, jewelry, investments, business ventures, it's all part of the performance. Success isn't just artistic, it's monetary. So when someone publicly sparks debate about another rapper's finances, even subtly, it hits at the core of credibility. Supporters of 50 Cent immediately framed it as classic humor. They argued that he trolls everyone equally, that he enjoys poking at the culture, that this is marketing through mischief. He knows exactly how to trend without trying, some said. And history supports that argument. 50 has a reputation for staying relevant through commentary alone, but Meek Mill's supporters were not amused. They pointed to streaming numbers, business partnerships, investments, career longevity. They reframed the conversation from doubt to documentation. And in seconds, the internet transformed into a financial fact-checking committee. People started comparing numbers like they were auditing spreadsheets. The memes arrived right on schedule. One viral post joked that 50 had opened a rap IRS department. Another claimed hip-hop Shark Tank was filming a new episode. The sarcasm was loud, and the engagement was louder. But beneath the jokes, tension simmered. Because wealth in rap is not just about dollars, it's about dominance. And dominance is fragile online. What makes this moment layered is perception versus proof. No verified financial statements were dropped. No official numbers were presented. Yet the conversation exploded as if confidential documents had been leaked. That's the power of influence. A single comment from the right person can trigger widespread speculation. Tone became the next battlefield. Was the comment playful? Was it petty? Was it calculated timing? Reaction channels dissected every syllable. They replayed the clip like forensic analysts reviewing evidence. Listen to how he said it. Look at the smirk. Social media doesn't just consume content, it cross-examines it. Meanwhile, history added fuel to the fire. 50 Cent has had public feuds before. He has sparred with names bigger and smaller. That track record makes every new jab feel intentional. Even if it's framed as humor, people assume there's a strategy underneath. That assumption alone amplifies the impact. The debate quickly evolved beyond money itself. It became about respect, about status, about who holds power in the culture. Because when financial credibility is questioned, even lightly, it feels personal. Fans don't just defend numbers, they defend identity. Another fascinating layer is how quickly the audience internalized the moment. Some viewers saw it as harmless entertainment. Others interpreted it as unnecessary shade. Personal biases shaped interpretation. Those who enjoy 50s trolling style laughed. Those loyal to Meek saw it differently. And once sides form, nuance disappears. Silence from either side only added suspense. No immediate escalation, no dramatic clapback, just a steady hum of speculation. That pause created anticipation. Would this turn into a lyrical exchange? A social media back and forth? Or would it remain a one-sided moment that trends and fades? The internet thrives on anticipation. When no resolution appears immediately, engagement extends. People refresh feeds expecting a response. Commentary creators keep analyzing angles. The storyline stretches instead of snapping, and stretching keeps relevance alive. Another key element is branding. 50 Cent's persona thrives on fearless commentary. Meek Mill's brand centers around resilience and hustle. When those two energies intersect, sparks are inevitable. It's not just personalities colliding, it's narratives. Narratives in hip-hop carry weight. One moment can reshape perception temporarily. It doesn't erase accomplishments, but it can color conversation. That's why this felt bigger than a joke. It touched a nerve tied to image. At this stage, the debate hasn't exploded, it has simmered. Supporters defend humor. Critics analyze motive. Meme pages recycle variations. Commentary channels keep digging. And the phrase that sparked it all continues circulating like it hasn't aged a minute. What makes Part 01 compelling isn't chaos, it's ignition. A single remark set off layers of discourse. It activated fans, creators, and casual observers alike. It reminded everyone how sensitive the topic of wealth is within rap culture. Because in hip-hop, money isn't background noise, it's the headline. And once that headline trends, the conversation rarely stays small. Right now, the storyline feels suspended, not explosive, not resolved, just charged. Everyone is waiting to see if this was a passing spark or the beginning of something louder. Because when 50 Cent presses a button, history suggests there's always the possibility of a follow-up. Because once the initial wave of reactions hit, the second wave didn't slow down, it multiplied. The comment about Meek Mill's wealth stopped being just a joke and started looking like a chess move. The internet began asking bigger questions. Why now? Why that phrasing? Was this random? Or was it perfectly timed? And the more those questions circulated, the more the spotlight intensified. Reaction channels went into overdrive. Creators broke down the tone like they were decoding encrypted messages. They replayed clips. They analyzed facial expressions. They paused on smirks. Noticed the delivery. They'd say dramatically, "Notice the timing." Suddenly, a few words had transformed into a cultural case study on trolling psychology. Then the memes evolved. 81st, they were playful. But as the debate matured, the humor sharpened. Hip-hop accountant season. Financial review loading. The jokes were relentless, and they spread fast. Because online, humor is the fastest vehicle for distribution. A meme can travel farther than a statement ever could. But beneath the laughter, something more serious simmered. The conversation turned toward credibility. In rap culture, financial image isn't optional, it's foundational. When wealth is questioned, even jokingly, it feels like a direct hit to status. And status in hip-hop is everything. It influences perception, influence, and respect. Supporters of 50 doubled down. They framed the moment as strategic trolling. They argued that he knows how to stir conversation without committing to full confrontation. He's marketing through controversy, some insisted. And given his history of staying relevant through commentary, that theory didn't sound far-fetched. Meanwhile, Meek Mill's supporters pushed back harder. They flooded timelines with accomplishments, streaming milestones, business ventures, philanthropy efforts. They weren't just defending finances, they were defending legacy. And that's when the debate shifted from money talk to respect talk, because when you challenge someone's wealth, you're indirectly challenging their grind, and grind in hip-hop is sacred. Another interesting layer emerged. Perception versus numbers. No financial documents were dropped. No verified breakdowns were presented. Yet the mere suggestion of instability sparked a wave of speculation. That's how powerful influence is. A single remark can plant doubt, even without proof. The timing also became a talking point. Was this part of a larger promotional cycle? Was it simply random social media energy? Or was it an old-school competitive nudge disguised as humor? The internet doesn't just react, it theorizes. And once theories start forming, engagement skyrockets. Then came the pop culture comparisons. Viewers liken the moment to reality show feuds that start with subtle shade and end in explosive reunions. Others compared it to corporate boardroom drama, except with rap lyrics instead of spreadsheets. The analogies were exaggerated, but they fueled the narrative further. Silence continued playing a strategic role. No immediate escalation from either side kept the tension suspended, and suspended tension is powerful. It keeps audiences watching. It keeps commentary channels speculating. It stretches the lifespan of the moment instead of burning it out. Another fascinating twist was how quickly fans internalized the debate. Some saw it as harmless entertainment. Others saw it as unnecessary provocation. Personal loyalty shaped interpretation. Those who enjoy 50s trolling style laughed it off. Those aligned with Meek took it personally. This phase wasn't explosive. It was layered. The initial shock matured into analysis. The memes turned into think pieces. The sarcasm evolved into cultural commentary. And the phrase that started it all continued circulating like it had just been posted. At this point, the storyline feels like it's balancing on a tightrope. It hasn't tipped into full-blown feud territory. It hasn't faded into obscurity either. It exists in that middle ground, charged, watchful, unpredictable. And unpredictability is what keeps the spotlight warm, because in the world of hip-hop, wealth isn't just about numbers. It's about narrative control. And when narrative control is challenged, even subtly, the culture pays attention. Part 02 wasn't about chaos. It was about escalation. The moment expanded beyond humor. It became symbolic. It tapped into competitive energy that has existed in rap for decades. And once competitive energy enters the room, the temperature always rises. Right now, the debate continues humming. Supporters defend strategy. Critics question motive. Meme creators stand ready for fresh material. And everyone waits to see if this was just a passing jab or the opening move in something louder, because when 50 Cent presses a button, history suggests it rarely stops at one click, and when money becomes the headline. And now we reached a phase that actually determines legacy, the aftermath. Because viral moments don't just explode and disappear. They settle into perception. They reshape narratives. They linger in comment sections long after the original post stops trending. The comment about Meek Mill's wealth didn't just spark debate, it adjusted the temperature of the room. Reputation in hip-hop isn't fragile, but it is fluid. One remark won't erase accomplishments, but it can influence how people frame the conversation moving forward. For some viewers, 50 Cent's comment reinforced his image as the ultimate instigator, fearless, unfiltered, strategic. For others, it felt unnecessary, a jab thrown simply because he knew it would land. What makes this stage compelling is how perception splinters. Supporters of 50 see brilliance in timing. They argue that he understands attention economics better than most executives. In their eyes, this wasn't an attack, it was engagement mastery. He turned a single comment into a trending topic without releasing a track. Meanwhile, Meek Mill's supporters shifted the focus to substance. They emphasized career longevity, chart success, business efforts, and public advocacy. They reframed the narrative from speculation to stability. In doing so, they reminded the timeline that wealth isn't just flashy, it's layered. The ripple effect extends beyond just these two names. This moment reignited a broader hip-hop conversation about money and image. In a culture that equates visible wealth with success, even subtle shade about finances carries weight. It taps into pride. It taps into ego. And ego in rap has a long memory. Another layer here is how trolling has become its own art form. 50 Cent doesn't always need confrontation, he needs conversation. By dropping commentary that walks the line between humor and heat, he keeps relevance alive. That strategy doesn't require escalation. It thrives on suspense. Suspense is what's fueling the stage. No explosive back and forth. No dramatic diss tracks. Just a charged pause. And charged pauses are powerful. They keep audiences refreshing timelines. They keep commentary channels speculating. They stretch the lifespan of the narrative instead of burning it out. Silence, in this case, becomes part of the drama. If no major response follows, the moment may settle into meme history. If something resurfaces later, a lyric, a caption, a subtle counter, the original comment will be referenced instantly. That's how digital memory works. It archives everything. The most fascinating element is how quickly fans projected onto the situation. Some saw it as harmless banter between industry veterans. Others viewed it as an unnecessary poke. Personal bias shapes perception, and once perception forms, it rarely shifts without effort. This moment also highlights how financial talk in rap culture operates differently than in other industries. In corporate settings, wealth is private. In hip-hop, it's public performance. So when someone suggests instability, even jokingly, it hits differently. It feels personal. But here's the twist. Nothing catastrophic happened. And no reputations collapsed. No explosive feud erupted. Instead, the moment simmered. And sometimes simmering moments have more staying power than dramatic explosions. They quietly influence how future interactions are interpreted. For 50 Cent, this reinforces his brand as a fearless commentator, someone who can stir the pot without spilling it. For Meek Mill, it reinforces resilience. His supporters mobilized quickly. They defended achievements loudly. That defense strengthened loyalty. Another ripple effect is how future commentary will be filtered through this lens. The next time money becomes part of the conversation, audiences will remember this moment. It adds a layer. It doesn't define everything, but it contributes to the ongoing storyline. What makes this chapter compelling isn't chaos, it's narrative tension. It's the sense that something could escalate, even if it hasn't yet. It's the knowledge that in hip-hop culture, competition never truly sleeps. It just waits, and waiting keeps attention alive. Right now, the energy feels balanced on a tightrope. Not explosive, not quiet, just steady. Supporters defend humor, critics analyze intention, meme pages remain alert, commentary channels keep revisiting angles. One comment sparked waves of discussion. One phrase activated financial debates. One moment reminded everyone how sensitive wealth conversations are within rap culture. Whether this fades into the background or becomes a reference point for something bigger depends on what happens next. But even if it remains a standalone moment, it accomplished something significant. It got people talking. Was this classic 50 Cent trolling calculated, strategic, and perfectly timed? Or did that comment hit a little heavier than it needed to? Do you see harmless humor? Or do you think money talk in hip-hop always carries extra weight? Drop your real opinions in the comments. Not just he's trolling or it's messy. Break it down. Whose side are you on? And why? Because let's be honest, one sentence turned into a full-blown financial debate. Memes exploded. Think pieces rolled out. Fans pulled out streaming stats like accountants at tax season. That's the power of perception in this culture. In hip-hop, money isn't background noise. It's identity. It's dominance. It's legacy. If you made it this far, you're already locked in. So smash that like button like it owes you money. Subscribe like you're securing front row seats to the next headline. And turn on notifications, because if this turns into a back and forth, a lyric response, or another perfectly timed jab, you already know we're covering it in real time. Over here, we don't just repeat gossip, we decode the energy behind it. We break down tone, timing, strategy, and perception without missing a beat. From subtle shade to full-blown culture shifts, this is where the conversation stays sharp, because in this game,